Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to JoJo's Watch Reviews. Today I am reviewing my Orient MFORCE watch. This is the latest MFORCE model that has been out for quite some time now, and other than different color variants, they really haven't done much else with the Orient MFORCE line. I've had this watch for probably 4, maybe going on 5 years, and it's definitely a watch that I'm glad I purchased. I also own, and I've done a video on the Orient MFORCE Bravo that I have that has an orange dial. This has a beautiful burgundy dial with the yellow second hand, and it's got a one-piece bezel. It has a pretty much like a Seiko bezel quality as far as the feel. It's got a good, would say it's got a good stiffness to it. I don't know if this is going to line up, but anyway, this bezel is a little bit, there we go, okay. It's a little bit weird because sometimes it seems like it lines up perfectly, and then other times it doesn't, and it's like a Seiko, half a click off. But anyway, just to go over the dimensions really quick, this is kind of a hard one to measure with the crown and these crown guards. This is a metal piece that's kind of like bolted into the case of the watch, and it covers, that kind of shrouds the bezel partially, and then I guess it's guarding the crown, so I guess it would be a partial bezel. As you can see, it goes underneath, kind of covers the edge of the bezel, and and then on the opposite side of the case, it's almost like a very reminiscent of a sumo, because it the case shrouds this side of the bezel, so it's kind of shrouded by the crown guard on this side, and then the case shrouds the bezel on this side. But anyway, it's 47 millimeters is what I get. It may be a little over 47. The length is 51.2, and the thickness is 13.3. As far as the movement goes, it's the F762 or something like that, guys. I don't exactly remember, but it pretty much has the same type of movement that it's there on the bottom. But anyway, it's pretty much like Orient's version to the NH35. That's 21,600 beats per minute. Nothing fancy about the movement. It's a good solid movement, just like any Seiko movement. And the bracelet on this watch is pretty awesome. This has like I guess you would call it like an H-link bracelet, and it articulates very well, and it's extremely comfortable as well. So yeah, it's definitely a very good articulation on this watch. So it does also have, it's pretty standard, you know, Orient Seiko has the folded clasp, kind of the cheaper type clasp. It does have it does, like as with most Seiko watches, it has the diver's extension. So you have the diver's extension, pretty much, you know, call it Orient, call it Seiko, I don't know. They're so daggone similar. It's and you know, everybody knows that the Orient is partly owned by Seiko. So let me try to get this sucker back in here. There we go. Okay. All right, so I got that back in. It's got the standard double push button deployment clasp with the safety lock, and it's very much like, you know, wearing a Seiko watch as far as I'm concerned. The weird thing about this watch is it wears so much like a turtle, and it kind of reminds me of a Seiko turtle, but because of like the length of the case and the case being or the bezel being shrouded by the case, it kind of reminds me of a Sumo. And I would almost say this watch is, if a Sumo and a turtle had a child, this would be the love child of the Sumo and the turtle. So this was the first MFORCE watch that has not had a power reserve. Forever, Orient has made all their MFORCE watches, and even the Orient Triton, which I also own, and I plan on doing a review of that as well. But the Orient MFORCE line forever had a power reserve. The original Tritons had a power reserve, and this would be the first Orient MFORCE to not include the power reserve on the dial of the watch. So, but yeah, I've had this watch for a while. It's a really, even though it's not like really like a thick watch, it only like at 13.2. It's not like, you know, the Sumo I believe is around 13.8. Even the SKXs are a little bit thicker, and of course, with my Marine Master 300, that's, you know, 15.5. So this is pretty much a slimmer diver. However, with 2 links taken out, this is about 109. I believe it's 193, 195 grams. So it's a pretty chunky watch as far as the feel and the weight of it. But it's not like, and of course with the crown guards, it makes it a lot bigger than I believe it is. If this were to be removed, it would probably only be like 44, 45. And I think that's why it reminds me so much of the Seiko turtle, is because it just feels and wears like a turtle in a lot of ways. This does have a sapphire crystal anti-reflective coating on the underside, and the lume on this is killer. It really has great lume, and I bought this watch because I thought originally that the watch was more of a red than a burgundy. So just trying to zoom in there real quick. It's a beautiful burgundy dial, but I thought originally this watch was a more of like a burgundy dial, I mean a red dial than burgundy. It doesn't really disappoint me because, you know, I'm a Washington Redskin Commanders fan. This kind of has their colors: the red, the yellow, the white lume plots, the black bezel. And if I didn't mention it already, this is a one-piece bezel, so it's not like a bezel with an insert. It's just one solid piece, and it's pretty cool. Orient makes a funky, kind of like a funky watch in a lot of ways. With their MFORCE line, they're pretty aggressive in style, but this is a rugged, very tough watch. This is the kind of watch, I mean, I really don't think you could, I mean, other than getting scratches, of course, on the case or whatever, or on the bracelet, you really can't beat this watch up. It's ISO rated 200 meters. Great dive watch. It has a pretty boring case back. Case back is kind of, most of my Orients I believe are kind of a brushed case back, but it doesn't really, just a basic Orient polished case back, and just whatever information is on the back of the watch, I guess the model number or the serial number or whatever. But yeah, so it's nothing special there. But again, though, like I said, I've had this watch for quite a while, and I've really enjoyed owning the Orient. It's a very, again, very tough and rugged diver from Orient. As just about all their divers, I mean, they're true diver. I'm not talking about like the Ray or whatever. Those aren't really considered ISO rated divers. I believe with the OSD, the original Triton with the power reserve, and now, and all the other variants of the MFORCE, Orient really makes a watch in this line, and with the original Triton line and the saturation diver line. Those were to me, were watches that were very worthy of competing with Seiko's best. And I would say on this right here, I would say this probably compares best with a Seiko Turtle. I wouldn't say it's as good as a Sumo, but I would say like a Turtle, you know, maybe like that. As far as that goes, I would give it a close comparison to the Seiko Turtle. It does have some better features. It has a better, I think, a much, this H-link bracelet, like I said, it articulates extremely well. Very, very comfortable bracelet. So the bracelet might be a little bit better than the Turtle. It does have solid end links, and it has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. That's one thing that Orient seems to do on a lot of their watches. They're lower, I don't want to say lower end, but you know, entry level, mid-tier. Orient gives you a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. Seiko, you know, you got to pay quite a bit of money to, at least $900 to the $1,200 range to get a well, not all, but there are a few exceptions with some of their solar divers. They have sapphire crystals, but as far as the automatic line and the Prospects automatics, you definitely have to go at least $900 to the $1,200 range too, before they even think about getting a sapphire crystal. So anyway, guys, with that said, I just wanted to do a quick review. I don't remember the model number on this, and to be honest with you guys, and this also, I'm glad I turned to the crown. This has the Orient logo signed crown. That's another thing. Seiko, or Orient does that Seiko doesn't. Even on some of their newer $1,600 GMT divers, they don't even have signed crowns. I believe I paid around the $330, $340 range for this watch. I know that they still sell these on eBay, Amazon, and there's a lot of other sites you can get these watches from. So anyway, guys, with that said, I just wanted to do a pretty fast review, or not a fast, but you know, just go over this watch. This has been in the collection for quite a while, and I have yet to review my Orient MFORCE watch. They are making newer models of these with, I believe, like a blue and orange. I think the originals were black, this color, and I forget what else. But I know I've seen a blue dial, same exact watch, but with a blue dial and a orange dial. So they definitely have different colors and different, you know, variants of this. But definitely, it's a recommended watch, guys. It's definitely a tank. It weighs about 190, I think 190, 193 grams, with a couple links taken out. It wears comfortable. It is a big watch, but it wears, again, like a Turtle. And it's a very sturdy. One thing you will notice when you strap this watch on your wrist, you're going to notice how sturdy and rugged this feels. It definitely feels almost like indestructible in a lot of ways. This case is extremely well designed, and with this funky crown guard, it kind of shrouds the top of the bezel on this side, and the case shrouding the bezel on this side. It definitely, Orient makes a great diver. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to say thanks for checking out the video. Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for everyone's support and supporting my channel. Deeply appreciated. Hope you guys have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye.